Oh, and just on cue, just as we're starting, all the dogs start. That's very typical of the best nonsense here. But thank you all so much for joining us today on a very sweaty Thursday. I hope we've all not melted that much. I know me and my fan are very close together, and probably in the several American states, we probably considered a common law marriage at this point because we've been that close over the last few days. So I hope everyone's enjoyed the sunshine recently, and I hope everybody is ready for our little talk about what BEST does, and all of us highlighting the wonderful apprentices that we have here in the BEST community. So for introductions, my name is Charlie and I'm the lead project manager here at Automate Best. We are the charitable arm of Automate UK. And for some of you who may not even know who Automate UK is, they are a trade association that was set up in the late 80s. And it's formed of three parts of process and packaging machinery, British automation and robotics, and also UK industrial machine vision. And between those three fractions, the membership that is paid into that, a little small midget of that, comes through to me and the Automate Best team, and we channel that money into opportunities for our apprentices within Automate UK companies. And we also use that money to encourage more young people within manufacturing and STEM activities. And we do that through multiple different ways that we're going to go through today. So hopefully I'm going to share my screen and we're going to tell you a bit more about BEST. And then after that, we've got a wonderful all-female apprentice panel. And then we've also got the Ask the Trustee section, which is secretly my favorite bit because I know the questions and the trustee doesn't. So here we go. Hopefully this will share. So I'm going to ask my apprentices to give me a thumbs up if they can see Automate Best. Screen? Perfect. Thank you, apprentices. So Automate Best. Our mantra is to encourage and support those who wish to pursue a career of vocational studies in the engineering sector and to help enrich their training experience. So that's why we purposely look at people coming into the industry and then also the retention of the apprentices and, you know, eventually future staff within companies as well. So who are we? Well, I've touched on that briefly. So we are the charitable arm of Automate UK, and we also are moving ourselves into a prime location where we are going to be involved more in helping with policy, helping with other trade associations like MTA and Make UK to again help encourage more young people to help stop the skills gap that we all know that we have within manufacturing and the supply chain. And so what do BEST do about that? Well, we do multiple different things about that, which we're going to talk about during this presentation, or at least a little bit that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so who are we and who makes the team? Well, it is mostly me at the top. I'm the mother hen of everybody and everything. And the dog that you saw at the beginning of the presentation is Jingxi, and she is our lead motivational officer. She is everybody's favorite colleague, both in Wallington and amongst all of the apprentices. And she's the one who you can currently hear in the background as well. We also have our STEM project coordinator, Matt Fox, who works specifically on our virtual STEM program. And then we also have 6 trustees. Yes, I have 6 now, the super 6. I collect trustees as Thanos collected Infinity Stones, but all of the trustees have their own little bits of areas of focus, and they also have an absolute plethora of knowledge, which I couldn't do without. So I'm able to ask him every and any question, which you will see a little later with Liam asking him questions. So of my trustees, I have Ian Jardine, who is the company secretary of PPMA and was also with Automate or PPMA as it was before, since the inception of it. He is my money guy. So always keep the money guy happy. We have John Clayton, who used to work in Newman Labeling, has been an MD in several other labeling manufacturing companies, and he helps out with the virtual STEM days. Tim Paul he was working for Domino Printing and has recently worked at JM Heford, and he is my Grant Jameson Scholarship Specialist. We have Richard Little. A lot of you will probably know Richard Little. He is the show director of PPMA Show, which happens every September, and he is my show guy. He loves a trade show more than he loves a family vacation. So anything to do with trade shows, he is my guy. And then we have the all-knowing Gary Wiles, who used to work at Festo, amongst other things. Gary is the guy I call when I need sensible answers to my crazy thoughts. And they will use the term crazy thoughts. And so he's the one that tries to take my crazy thoughts and then try and polish them up so that we get the really core great bits of that crazy idea, which has worked very well so far. And then we have my most recent trustee acquisition, so to speak, and that is Mark Gearing, and he is from Domino recently, and he is helping me out with the clusters. And we're going to talk about the Automate UK and Automate Best clusters shortly, and also the panel are also part of the clusters, so they'll be able to give you a first-hand account of how all that works. So our bread and butter is out the best awards. So these are the grants and bursaries. Now, there is yet to our grants and bursaries, which I'll go through in a minute, but this is my favorite fact of all time. So BEST has been running since 2014, and they've been handing out grants and bursaries since 2017. Between 2017 and January 2024, 99 awards were given out to apprentices and member companies. I was then appointed as lead project manager in January 2024. And ever since I've been there, I have given out 99 awards in the 2 years that I've been there, which is the greatest. I love giving away money. It's very hard to do, guys, but I love giving away money to wonderful people who deserve it. And the caveat I was mentioning is that you do need to be a member of Automate UK in order for your apprentices to access these grants and bursaries, which the young people that are on the call today, their companies are all members. So the grants and bursaries that we give is dependent on the level of study that they're doing. If it's level 2 and level 3, we generally say to go with the best award, which is a one-off payment of £1,000. We then have the 2 bursaries, which is the HNC, HND, and the undergraduate bursary. So these are anywhere between level 4 and level 6. And that is £3,000 spread over 3 to 4 years, depending on how many years they've got, and also a discussion between ourselves and the apprentice, because some apprentices want to have a little bit every year, but we do not give one full whack of 3,000. We're not the lottery, so you're going to get it over a spread of time, so that you so they're able to use the money for transport costs, resources, things like that. And then once they've finished their apprenticeship, they can apply for the progression grant. So this is to help with retention and mostly to get either this one, I can tell you right now, is usually used for car insurance or to buy extra tools. And this is the progression grant, and that is £500 upon completion. We also have a company grant of up to £2,000 for their very first apprentice. Now, we do have a couple of companies that are looking to take on their very first apprentice this year, and they will be able to apply for that. I'm afraid that company grant has to be for your very, very first apprentice, not the first one you've ever applied to BEST, but it has to be your very, very first one that you've taken on. And that's to cover the initial costs that you may have when taking on an apprentice. So that's the good stuff. That's the giving away money part, which is my favorite part. Okay. So what else do we do? Well, we also get out and about. So we also go around to Automate UK member companies to offer tailored advice and guidance with apprenticeships, because some of them may not know the process at all, or standard, the government come out with a different policy every other month. And so we help our companies to go through the changes and see how it applies to them or doesn't apply to them. We also go to different trade shows and UCAS shows, which the panel and I will discuss in a bit, because some of them have been to quite a few of those with me now. And we also have the clusters. So the clusters is a group of Automate UK member companies who are very close together in a certain geographical location. And we basically have the kids go round to the different members to go on what they call cluster visits, cluster site visits, where they get to learn about the different companies that are part of the cluster. And they usually do a workshop there as well and kind of get their hands dirty and get to see what it's all about. And then we have an end of year project, which is where all of the companies come together, and we split the apprentices all up into different teams. And on the cluster day, we set them a task. They'll have a full brief to fulfill, and a winning project will be chosen. And then from this year, it's mid-June to September, they will then build the winning machine, with the help of the rest of the cluster team, and present the winning design at the PPMA show in September. This is the second year that we have done this with our OG cluster in Cambridge. It has been a roaring success. We started with 4 companies and we now have 6 within that. I was on a cluster site visit yesterday at Enderline, and the positivity, not just from the apprentices, because it's great to take the apprentices out and off the shop floor and things like that, but from the companies themselves wanting to be involved, wanting to get more involved. I've already shared the cluster panelists will not like this, but I have shared the brief for this year with the managers, and they were so excited. They were coming up with ideas in the in the call. So it was a bit like, hey, do you guys want to build it, or do you want the apprentices to build it? And it's just added an extra level of fun, but also it's giving the apprentices extra resources that they can put into their portfolios, end of point assessments, extra projects they can put in there. It also helps contribute to their communication skills, networking skills. Another example, at the Enderline, they work with Alan Bradley pieces, and they actually said, oh, we find them quite difficult. Well, we also have Rockwell automation within the cluster, and they're Alan Bradley. That's their bread and butter. So now the apprentices at Enderline, when they have a problem with an Alan Bradley piece, they will call up the Rockwell apprentices to help them out, and they're totally fine with them going between the two. So it's small and great things like that that's made the clusters really work, and I'm very, very proud of them. And I cannot wait to see the new machine that's going to come. And I love the fact that they're all squirming, because they all want to know what the brief is, but I'm not telling them. So and then the other wonderful thing we have is the best club, which is what the panelists and I are going to be talking about in just a few moments. So I won't dwell on that too much, other than it's just basically a network for all of the apprentices, not just within Automate UK member companies, but an apprentice in any shape or form within the country. So how can you get involved, whether you're an Automate UK member company, or if you are not an Automate UK member company? It doesn't matter, you can still get involved. Sponsorship, donations. We are a charity, and that's basically, you can expect us to ask such things, but what we do is we work on a very specific level. So we will tell you where your money's going. You will get promotions within that, and it goes directly to the young people that you're going to see. So these are just some of the things that we work specifically on with the clusters, the Best Club. With MAC, we've just been at MAC. We've done UCAS events, and we've also got currently 2 teams in World Skills this year, which they're competing tomorrow as well. So any extra sponsorship for those would be wonderful. But you don't have to give us money. Money is great, love it, but it's not the be all and end all. Allowing staff to come to our Family Fun Day in October, which this year will be at the National Space Centre in Leicester. I'm so excited about it. That's a great way to support us. Allowing our apprentices to come and visit your company to learn more about what you do, absolutely invaluable to them. And they are all nosy and they all have 20 million questions. And they love those types of days. And it's really great to see them flourish, but also to look at what else is out there beyond their own workshop floor. And also donation of any spare equipment that you may have, not only to the apprentices and to the clusters, but also to local schools as well. We also help distribute that. So I will stop rabbiting on because I realize the time, and I am going to bring in my lovely 3 panelists. So we have Jace and Cheta from Domino, and we also have Hollie from Sycamore. I'm so excited they're here. So firstly, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves so that I can stop rabbiting on for a minute. So I will ask Jace if you could introduce yourself first, let us know where you work, what you're doing, and then Cheta after Jace, and then Hollie afterwards, please.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Jace. I'm a software development apprentice at Domino Printing Science. Currently working within the data platforms team where I'm learning to build my technical skills and learn more hands-on experience.
Hi, my name is Cheta Wandu, Cheta for short. I'm an engineering apprentice at Domino, and I do rotations around different departments. So I'm currently in the manufacturing engineering team. This is my 5th rotation.
Hi, I'm Hollie. I'm a 2nd year welder fabricator. So yeah, I work in the dairy industry and we help to make hygienic pipework for food.
Honestly, it's the coolest thing. All the different things that you can do within manufacturing apprentices. It's just amazing. So I'm just going to start this with Hollie. What does a typical day look like for you in your apprenticeship?
That's a hard question because it seems to change every day, but kind of get to work and then always a bit of welding, mainly pipe work at the moment. I'm trained on the orbital welder, so I normally spend most of the time orbital welding or training at the moment. Yeah, do quite a lot of that, and then depending on jobs, it could be a bit of making some framework as well. But yeah, there's quite a lot of different things every day, which is exciting. So yeah, you can never really predict what I'm going to do.
And I will add to this, Hollie, how many young ladies work with you on the shop floor?
0. I work with about 20 men.
She is number one at Sycamore.
Yeah.
Total badass there. Cheta, how did you find out about your apprenticeship?
So I found out about my apprenticeship through the gov.uk website. I remember at my school there was a bit of like a talk on National Apprenticeship Day, but it wasn't really as in depth as it probably should have been. So I went out and did some more research while I was also applying to universities and applying to apprenticeships as well, and that's why I found Domino apprenticeship.
And Jace, how supportive is Domino with your
I
apprenticeship?
would say Domino is very supportive throughout my apprenticeship. They're always providing me with a lot of guidance from experienced colleagues or graduates that have done the apprenticeship, and they're always giving me enough time to focus on my coursework and ensure that I'm working on the tasks which can help me develop my skills for university. And I also feel like at Domino, there's a really strong culture for asking questions or learning from other people. So I'm always getting the support that I need from all around me, which is really sweet.
There's quite a few of you apprentices at Domino, isn't there? That I always say there's a fleet of you. How is that? How is, because you know you started fairly recently, Jace. How is that having lots of other apprentices with you at Domino?
I think it's really nice because you get to hear so many different perspectives of an apprenticeship by all the people that you talk to, and everyone seems to have really good like things to say about it. So it gives me more comfort, and I don't know. I think it's really nice hearing a lot of nice things about the company because it gives you more reassurance. Where especially when you're really new, when everyone else seems to know each other already, that you're welcome and you can feel safe to ask questions. That the apprenticeship's always fine. So yeah, I really like having a lot of people to work with, and it gives you some really good networking skills as well. So it's really nice. Yeah.
And Cheta, how did you hear about Best?
So I heard about Vest through Domino. So after joining Domino and with the apprentice cluster and stuff, so that was sort of formed in association and come like together with Automate Best. And Automate UK was also like associated as well. So that's when I started to hear about it and the charity. And actually before that, when I got a grant, when we got a grant for being a member of Vest, that was really nice. So yeah, that's when I heard
You're
about.
welcome, dear. And Holly, how did you hear about Best down in Yeovil?
Yeah, down in Somerset. Yeah, when I joined Sycamore, our lovely HR lady Ruth, who's not working here anymore, but she basically told me all about Charlie and Automate, and yeah, I thought it sounded really exciting. And then obviously, yeah, Charlie came down and met us all, so that was lovely. And then we got our grant, which was brilliant as well.
Just to add, Ruth retired. She hasn't disappeared.
No, yeah, she is. Yeah, she's
She just
enjoying
wonderfully
retirement.
retired,
Yeah.
enjoying her retirement life. She hasn't just like gone.
No, she's very sadly missed.
She is. And can you guys tell us about what opportunities you've had with Best? We'll start with Jace.
So working with Vest, I've been involved in so many events like PPMA and MAC, which have given me really good exposure to in like different industries and technologies and other organizations. And I feel like all of these experiences have helped me get a better understanding of wider engineering and manufacturing in general. And I feel like I would only be able to achieve that with Automate Best, and I'm very thankful for those opportunities. So, yeah.
And Cheta, you've been to a couple of different trade shows that some of the others haven't been to. You went to UCAS and you've done our virtual STEM days. Tell us about those experiences.
Yeah, so the UCAS Discovery event was really cool to speak to the students. We were there with loads of other universities stands as well. And we had our apprenticeship section with like the army and other bits. So it was good. Lots of people were interested in hearing about it, so it was good that we were there to speak to them and hear what they thought. And then also the STEM days, yes. So getting younger people involved in STEM and encouraging them to pursue it and showing them just sort of like what's out there and all the different things that they could do within a STEM career. So it's been good to hopefully inspire and encourage.
Oh, you've definitely inspired and encouraged, absolutely. From the reports that we've got back, you're definitely doing that. And Holly, you've done PPMA, which is our big flagship event. And also at Sycamore, we have the impact report photo shoot, which is my highlight of my year. How was it? How was PPMA and how was the impact report for you guys?
Yeah, PPMA was brilliant. Yeah, we all really enjoyed it. A couple of us went up last year, and then I know we've been previous years before as well. Yeah, it was really interesting. I loved kind of seeing all the different companies because it's surprising how many different companies and you don't even know they're out there. But yeah, that was really good. And then we helped on the stands, and it was nice to see other apprentices from Automate Best as well. That was really good. Yeah, as well, our impact report, that is quite funny. It's basically a competition who can get the front cover. I haven't seen who's front cover this year, but yeah, it is a massive competition. We're all trying to come up with the best job to do for the day that Charlie comes down and takes our photo.
I'm trying to find. I might have be like a Blue Peter and be like, here's one I prepared earlier. But last 20, so we've done 2 impact reports, obviously, since I've been there. Holly made the first cover And then I think this year is one of the newer apprentices. I don't know if you can see that. It's one of the newer apprentices at Sycamore. But we take it very, very seriously. I come down in November, December time. I come with sweets from Santa, and we do take it very seriously down there. And no, I enjoy that day as much as you guys. Out of all of the sort of all the different opportunities, obviously the cluster has taken up quite a bit of our time. Jace, how has the cluster been for you, and what can you tell us a bit more about it?
So far with the cluster, I'm still quite new, so I haven't done a lot with the cluster, but so far I think it's been really nice working with everyone, and seeing all the different parts of engineering in general come together, and you get to learn a lot from other people. And I think a cluster is a really nice way for all of us to get together and kind of work towards an amazing end goal where you can put all of your skills and expertise to a product and then make it live and make everyone kind of show off what you've been doing. And I think it's really nice working with other people. Yeah, I think that's it.
And Cheta, this is now your second year doing the cluster. How has it differed between the 2 years?
So for the first year, like it was the very first one we'd done, and the timing as well. We had like, it was quite a time crunch just trying to get everything together, and just kind of the feeling of like the apprentices just doing it all sort of on our own. We did have support definitely, but it was really awesome when it came together at the BPMA show and we got good feedback. And it was very valuable experience for us because not only did we get to see like cross-functional collaboration across like engineering stuff and like software and more STEM-based stuff, but even things like marketing and like preparation for like a trade show and all the things that go into that we maybe wouldn't have had access to otherwise. That was really cool to like learn from that experience and like actually see it put together with just us apprentices. So that was a pretty good experience. Yeah.
I was very proud, Mum. Very proud, Mum. I mean, I always am, but I was especially proud when that machine came through and it was working. We won't talk about the rejection shoot, but we'll ignore that bit. Hollie, what would you say to any Automate UK member who hasn't interacted with Best yet? What would you say to them?
I would say definitely interact, and definitely, yeah, it would be something I would promote because it's been so helpful, especially for me with a bursary in a practical job. I use the money to get a lovely toolbox and tools. So especially if you're in a manufacturing industry, it is crazy how expensive tools and bits and bobs are that you need for kind of everyday jobs. But yeah, that's been really helpful, especially if you're kind of a smaller company, to help with apprentices. Yeah, I think it's definitely a great opportunity because it's good for the company and obviously the apprentices, because I've got to go to so many different places that I wouldn't go to and speak to different people. So yeah, I would really recommend.
And we'll give the final word to Cheta. What would you say to people who are not Automate UK members but are thinking about helping to support us? What would you say to them?
I would say definitely support and like get involved, join. It's definitely worth it. There's a lot of value that can be added for everyone involved, any apprentices, any companies. Like it gives exposure and like it's lots to learn. So definitely worth it.
So I'm very proud of you three. This is these guys' first panel. I'm very, very proud. Very proud mum here. So thank you so much, Jace. Thank you so much, Hollie, and thank you so much, Cheta. I am the beam smile is happening. And you've got some applauses coming through. Thank you so much. It's well deserved. So now I'm going to stop yapping and I'm going to hand over to one of our other lovely apprentices who was a host at PPMA show apprentice panel last year. So he's well accustomed to being a host. So here is Liam Andrews from Domino. After you go, Liam.
Hello, thanks, Charlie. And yeah, so this is still new to me, my first webinar. Automate Best is first webinar to you, but yeah, I'm joined here with Gary. So Gary, thanks for joining. And I'm going to kickstart straight into it, So little introduction. So for anyone who may not know yourself, Gary, could you give a quick introduction to yourself and your background?
Yes, of course. Before I do, I just want to say also thanks to Hollie, Jace, and Cheta. Fantastic that you're sharing your experiences in this way, and I can really hear the motivation in your voices, which is it's great to hear. So thank you for participating. Yeah, I'm an engineer, or at least I was an engineer, but my learning about engineering was so long ago that it's completely out of date. But I spent a big part of my career in an automation company in Festo in various roles. And I started there as an applications engineer, having done a trainee type apprentice program with an American company for the prior couple of years. And then in the last 8 years or so, I've been running my own business, supporting managers and directors of small to medium-sized companies as they develop strategies for the future, but still very much in the industry, very much in the engineering sector.
Nice. And then, so to yourself, so you're a trustee, right?
Yes. When I left my position as managing director for Festo and had a bit more time because I didn't have that much business at the start of my own company, I was approached by Ian and Richard to see whether I'd be interested in joining the board of trustees for Best. And I'd heard a little bit about what Best were trying to do and the idea behind it. And it really touched a nerve with me because I've always been quite passionate about bringing people into engineering and thinking about careers in engineering. So being able to participate and support Best with what knowledge and experience I could bring was a great opportunity, and I very much enjoyed it. And Charlie, yes, the last 2 years have been best.
Okay. Do you mind just touching a bit on that? So again, just to ask you, so what made you sort of get involved with Best? I know you said you've been approached, but what made you sort of want to, because you have to want it for yourself to get involved, and what made you want to support apprentices, with that being said too?
Yeah, a couple of things. Around about early 2000s, 2005, 2010, that kind of area, Festo, like most companies, were having real problems finding engineers with the right level of experience and knowledge to bring the business forward. And we recognized very quickly that there's just wasn't enough young people thinking of careers in engineering when they were coming towards the end of their school lives and so on. And our parent company in Germany invested very heavily in a training division to encourage young engineers in Germany. And I could see the difference, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. So we started trying to connect with local schools and universities to see if we could help in some way, and got involved quite early on in running STEM events. And one of the things that I found very interesting was we had a STEM event one evening showing a lot of our equipment, a lot of our processes and so on. And we had quite a few kids there. I think it was probably 30 or 40 13 to 15-year-olds at that time. And I attended, but incognito. So I sat in different places around the room without telling anyone who I was. And I was listening to some people in front of family, nice family. And the young lad that was there was saying, oh, this is really interesting. I'm quite interested in this. And I heard his mum and dad say, oh, no, you don't want to become an engineer. It's such a mucky, messy, oily environment. And I thought, oh, my goodness, how are we going to get young people to consider a career in engineering if they've got no guidance or support from parents and from their schools? And during my time, I also saw so many apprentice schools and training agencies and even colleges reduce and eliminate their engineering departments. At the same time, what was really frustrating was we were looking across the UK for about 10,000 engineers, and we were plugging that gap with people coming over from Europe during the EU times and so on. So yeah, I've kind of noticed the gap and recognized that really to make a difference, we can't wait for government policy. We can't wait for people to do it for us. As organizations, as employers, we have to kind of go and do it ourselves. So, sorry, long answer to your question, but when Automate UK then set up a charity specifically in that area, it just seemed a no-brainer to me to become involved.
I appreciate you sharing that, because yeah, again, that's something that a lot of companies will be thinking about, how to get more engineers into their company and stuff. So thank you for sharing that story. And just to follow on from that, so what's the biggest impact that you've seen Best have on apprentices so far since you become a trustee?
Well, that's an interesting question. Biggest impact, I think, at an individual level, and we heard it a few moments ago, being able to support financially the individual apprentice, I think, goes a long way to. I'm not sure it helps people make a decision to go that way, but it certainly makes it easier to keep going. And as Hollie said, tools and so on are so expensive. Even getting to places is pretty tricky. So at an individual level, I think it is the money which we like to give away and like to see people get benefit from. But probably the best club is a really big thing. Seeing the way the members interact with each other, share experiences. I remember in my time of training and being something like an apprentice, it was called something different then. I learned an awful lot about a very narrow range of technology and skills, and had very limited awareness of what was going on around me. And I think this, the best club and the clusters in particular, really give people at a much earlier stage in their career a chance to get a much broader idea of what engineering is and what the opportunities are. And that, I think, leads to motivation. It also leads to creativity going forward. But sorry, you said one thing and I'm now going to give you a third. I'm also extremely impressed with what Matt has been doing with the schools. We're reaching something like 3,000 school children every year, and introducing them to an idea of an engineering-based career. Now, I have no idea how many of those will ultimately go on to become engineers, but the feedback we get from those events are very positive. So at least we know we're putting it on the agenda at a much earlier age through the work of the STEM days.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, going on from, again, so I guess I'm going to ask you, so what would you say to any members that maybe who haven't made much use of Best yet? What would you say to those members?
Yeah, I think it depends on the type of company. If it's like many Automate members, a small to medium-sized company, hasn't got a massive amount of resources, maybe is thinking, can I really afford an apprentice, or will it be too much burden for me? I would say get in touch, talk to us, talk to other people, because it's not easy, but it's probably easier than you imagine. And the benefits are enormous going that way. So yeah, kind of look into it. For the bigger companies, and I can put my previous company in that list, I would say contribute. You've got a lot of experience and knowledge that other people need. You've probably got a lot of apprentices, or a number of apprentices too, who could contribute in a positive way to encouraging others. So yeah, I would say, yeah, come on, join in, support us, sponsor us, and see if you can help us bring even more talent into the sector.
Thank you. I know the apprentices already have discussed a lot of these points as well, but again, just want to hear from your perspective as a trustee, sort of the opportunities that some people or companies may be missing out on for not engaging with Best. What are some of the things that they could look forward to sort of utilizing as being a part of Best?
Yeah, I think those that might be doubting whether they can really support an apprentice or whether they'll get value from it. I've seen so many examples where small companies have taken on apprentices who have really valued the connection with a small company, the kind of camaraderie, how much they're supported and learn from the people around them. And in many cases, there's a couple of cases, I won't mention the names, but a couple of companies I've worked with quite recently where apprentices in a very short space of time, like 2 or 3 years, have become very significant players, maybe also managers in the business. So they've gone from learning to contributing a massive amount very quickly. So it is an investment, but I would say it's an investment into the future. And if you don't make that investment, you're likely to have the challenge of, as your workforce ages and maybe approaches retirement, you're likely to be leaving some big gaps behind.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the big boss, Charlie, how are we for time? Sorry. I've got some questions here, but how are we for time?
You can ask one more. So
Is it one more?
choose wisely. Choose wisely.
All right, cool. I guess I'd ask, so Gary, if there's sort of one thing that you'd like people listening to today to take away about Best, what would it be?
If you're thinking about a career in engineering, don't think any further. Start. It's worth it. It's good fun. Lots of opportunities. But if you're not sure whether it's worth getting involved with Best, at least come and talk to us. Have a chat with Charlie so that she can explain to you how it might work for you, where you get benefits and contribute. But be proactive. Come to us because we can't help you unless you do come to us.
Yeah, thank you for your lovely answers, Gary, and appreciate your time as a trustee. I know your schedule's all booked, so I appreciate you coming along and sharing your wisdom. So thanks again, and yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, hand it back to Charlie.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Liam.
My pleasure.
I was listening to that so intently. One of the things that I've done in the last 2 years is make sure the trustees get more involved in every single factor that we do, including coming to trade shows and now doing webinars. So I'm very pleased to have Gary on here and to share all his wisdom from all these years. And I just wanted to take the time to open the board for if there are any questions that have come through. I know we have one from Mohammed. I've just added on here to feel free to message me. I did spell my name wrong, which tells you all you need to know about me. There's an E at the end of Charlie, but feel free to email me and I'll see what vacancies that we have from member companies to see if that would be any help to you. If anybody, so I wanted to ask one further question of Gary because while I can, what would you say to end users who may be on the call about how they can assist us at Best?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. I think the majority of members of Automate are they're suppliers to the end users. They're supplying solutions, parts of solutions, and I think end users could really help increase the productivity and the impact of multiple companies if they would open their doors a little bit, invite some of their suppliers, engineers in to see the total production area, so that everybody gets a wider view. And of course, yeah, I think end users are as dependent on engineers of the future as anyone else. So if they've got a bit of an apprentice levy they could share with us, or maybe a bit of sponsorship, that would also be welcomed.
Beautiful answer. If there are any more questions, but you're a bit shy on here, totally understandable. Please feel free to email me. I'm charlie@automate-best.org. I will put it up on the screen as well for you. Share screen. I've got too many tabs open. If anyone knows with ADHD knows that's always the case. You've got 10 million tabs on. But if you want to find out more, feel free to contact me. I'm not scary at all. Jingxi may also answer some of the emails as well. She is scary. And I just want to take the time to say thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for listening to not just me rabbit on, but also our lovely apprentices. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank again our apprentices, Jace and Cheta and Liam from Domino, and Holly from Sycamore Process. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate it more than you know. And also, I'd like to take time to thank Gary for also being on the webinar and for being grilled by an apprentice. And he didn't know any of the questions, so he was a brave guy. So thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining us. And again, any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you so much, everybody.